Hey guys, it's Dezzy here, and we're going to be talking about Addison by Addison Rae. I wanted to do a first listen, but something happened with the video, and I thought I would just make a shortened review of it. A freshman album can either make or break a young artist's career. It can either show you have what it takes musically, show you have potential, or show that you're just here to ride the wave. This album showed me which camp Addison Rae is in. If you don't know who Addison Rae is, she is a TikToker, content creator, and now singer. She is now going to be performing as an opener for Lana Del Rey, and she just came out with her first album. She got success as a singer with her viral song Diet Pepsi, but that wasn't the first song she ever released. She released a song called Obsess, but it released to mostly negative reception. Diet Pepsi is the first single of this album, and the second single is a song called Aquamarine. This album is separated into 3 sounds, but we're only going to be focusing on 2 sounds for now. The first half of the album has a hyperpop, electronic, modern-like songs, while the second half of the album feels like it was ripped straight out of the early 2000s. Diet Pepsi and Aquamarine feel like outliers when examining the whole album. It feels like Diet Pepsi was put on the album because of its virality. It doesn't fit the album. While other songs on the album have sounds of the early 2000s either in production, vocal mixing, and lyricism, Diet Pepsi sounds like it's an outtake of Lana Del Rey's 2012 Born to Die. And Aquamarine sounds like a mixture of a Marina and the Diamonds song and an early Madonna outtake song. The second half of the album is stronger than the first half. Notably, the second half has songs over 3 minutes. And it seems like Addison Rae does better with longer songs, as the second half doesn't have any songs that directly sound like another artist, and the songs on the second half of the album have a better song structure and song progression. And while these songs are over 3 minutes long, they do not have bridges. This album's song structure goes as verse 1, chorus, verse 2, and back to the chorus, and then repeats the last few lines of the song over and over again. It gets repetitive. The album sits at 33 minutes with 2 interludes and 10 songs. The album's pros. The production on this album is great. Everything sounds high quality, and thought and care was put into the mixing and arranging of instruments and vocal stacking. The mixing is great too, but at some points, the effects that are put on Addison's voice takes away from the quality and tone of her voice and the delivery of a line. Addison has times where her delivery adds to the song, like the last chorus of Money is Everything and Fame is a Gun, but there are also parts where she sounds like a caricature, especially during parts where she is talking like in Money is Everything and Aquamarine. It sounds like instead of creating her own delivery and sound, she's imitating. Her voice is beautiful on songs like Summer Forever, and she really sells what she is singing about on songs like In the Rain. The album's problems. The lyrical aspect of each song could have been better. Some lyrics sounded like they were taken off of a 2013 Tumblr board. At times, the lyrics rhythmically and rhyming wise sounded clunky, and those 2 problems makes the replayability decrease dramatically. Also, the track list structure. The way your album is structured is just as important as what songs you put on the album. You can have the best songs, but if your structure doesn't flow, like having abrupt changes in tone can make the listening experience seem clunky or out of place. And it can also make a track seem like an outlier in the album. I always say your opening track and your closing track should be 2 of your best songs on the album, and the start and close of a narrative, whether that be in theme or story. I can say that Addison by Addison Rae doesn't do any of those things. New York is definitely not a good opening track. It's just lackluster compared to some of the other songs on the album. Addison should have used Lost and Found as the opening track. With tracks like Fame is a Gun, High Fashion, Summer Forever, the narrative could have been how fame, money, and drugs, and a fast life in general could have you losing yourself at many points in your life. And then with the closing track being Headphones On, it closes out the narrative that you can find yourself even while you're trying to distract yourself from the chaos happening around you. And you can come to terms with certain aspects about your life, certain characteristics that you have while trying to escape. Doing some rearranging would have told people that Addison Rae has something to say and you should listen. But at the end of the day, it's not, and the track list is how it is. While Headphones On is a good song, New York is not particularly a bad song, just a bad opener. And finally, the album just does not have memorable tracks. I can only remember the melody of 5 songs. Diet Pepsi, I only remember this track because the song was viral for months, and everyone and their aunts, mothers, brothers, and second cousins were using the song on Reels, TikToks, and Shorts. New York because it's repetitive. All it does is repeat. I love New York. Money is Everything. I remember the melody for that because the song stands out to me because of the character that Addison had in her voice during the last chorus. Fame is a Gun because it's my favorite song on the album. In terms of production, lyricism, and song progression, it's the best song on the album. And lastly, Headphones On, because it's the second best song on the album in terms of production, lyricism, and progression. And like I said earlier, with the weaker songs being between 2 minutes and 2 minutes and 30 seconds, it seems like Addison and her team do better with songs over 3 minutes. Lyrically, she can express herself more, and production-wise, they can give the songs a more memorable structure with more memorable mixing and arrangement of instruments. Closing thoughts. It feels like no new artist and only a few popular artists are interested in creating a musical experience. Artists used to be interested in creating a musical experience through each song in their album, and in recent times, how this experience is created is through production. But decades ago, this musical experience was created through vocal performance, making sure the audience felt the joy you were singing, felt the pain you were singing, felt the heartbreak you were having while singing the song. And the visual aspect to these songs used to be the artist performing the song live, where you can see through their vocal performance, through their stage presence, the story they were trying to tell. Then the introduction of music videos helped expand the musical experience, adding to the world of an album, of a song. See, artists, particularly in the 80s to early 2010s, needed to create those worlds because they needed album sales. Before iTunes and the creation of CD stations and big box stores, you couldn't hear a snippet from each song. Before you bought the album, you could go to a record store, and if they had open record players, you could listen to the tracks. But not every record store had this. The listener had to trust that the artist they were getting an album from was going to give them great songs, a great musical experience. In recent times, nowadays, a lot of artists don't care if they give their listeners a musical experience. Now with streaming, listeners can listen to the songs, choose what songs they like, and download them, and discard the rest of the album. Either way, the record label gets their dimes, and the artist gets their penny. And it's important for record labels to ensure songs are shorter because of replayability. They want more streams, they want more dimes, while the artist gets more pennies. It's no longer necessary to come with your A game for each album because mediocrity is sometimes celebrated and most times tolerated. There's no need to rock the boat, create your own wave when you have a million plus follower account. Follow a formula that has been proven to work by other artists. Follow a trend. Ava Max is the most notable artist that tried to use the early 2000s and early 2010s sound in her music. The problem is that the early 2010s and early 2000s sound is not like funk or disco. The song hasn't been away long enough to bring that nostalgia factor back. And it hasn't been long enough that artists, producers can fully analyze the pros of that sound and adapt it into a new wave because it's still too close. We still have elements of that early 2000s sound in songs that are produced and released today. Addison by Addison Rae has some good songs on it and has a lot of meh songs. Like they're not good, but they're not bad, and they're not memorable. And her album follows that early 2000s sound. Instead of updating and adapting that sound, the songs just sound dated. I still listen to pop songs from the early 2000s, and just because I like them doesn't mean they don't sound dated. I like headphones on times like these, but they sound dated. They sound like they were released in the early 2000s. And they sound like this through mixing and melody and the VSTs that were used. While those songs sound dated, Money is Everything and High Fashion do adapt the early 2000s sound with a twist of modernity. Then songs like Diet Pepsi sound like they abandoned the early 2000s theme that the album had going, and there was too many times that I said, oh, this sounds like X artist. Like with Diet Pepsi, I was like, oh, this sounds like a Lana Del Rey outtake. With Aquamarine, I was like, oh, this sounds like Marina and the Diamonds mixed with a bit of early Madonna. It sounds like an outtake off of Electra Heart, and that's in fact very deadly for a new artist. We should hear influences, keyword influences, not a copy and paste of another artist. What makes a great artist stand out is their distinctive sound. The album lacks that. I don't hear Addison Rae, I'm hearing other artists. While songs like Fame is a Gun, Summer Fun leave me with the hope that Addison has potential, and with a different creative director or producer, she may be able to unlock that. This album as a whole leaves me unimpressed. And sadly, once this review is done, it's an album I'm looking forward to deleting off my phone. I don't have the desire to replay this album. And the fact that Pitchfork gave this album an 8, while better albums by other artists, other indie artists, get lower ratings is in fact a crime. Like, Pitchfork, I'm looking at you crazy. It leaves me conflicted with a number to rate this album. So I'll give it a letter grade. Addison by Addison Rae is a C-. And the two things preventing me from giving this album a D is Fame is a Gun and Summer Forever. You can't rate an album, rate an artist on the potential you think it has, what it was trying to do. All you can do is critique, review, rate based on what it did. And if you like mediocre songs and you like this album, good for you. I'm just looking for something better. We live in a time where record labels are looking for artists with a high follower count instead of artists that actually have the talent to make it far. And I'm sure Addison Rae is a nice girl, and this is nothing personal. This is not me hating influencer music. This is me saying hopefully that if someone like her hears this, if an aspiring artist hears this, that they have a few tips to make a good, possibly great album. It's important to point out the good, the bad of an album, because artists of any medium wouldn't be great if they didn't have notes given to them, if they didn't have criticism given to them. And I'm not saying hate, I'm saying criticism. Addison is signed to Columbia Records, one of the biggest record labels out there. And she has been given the push that more talented artists don't get from the record labels. And that's not anything to fault Addison for, but I would imagine if I was signed to a big record label, given an opportunity that many people don't get, with the push that many people don't get, I would produce a better album than this. Again, record labels aren't looking for talent. They're looking for people with high follower counts. Artists and record labels are okay with pushing out mediocrity because they know that a lot of people eat mediocre pop songs up. But I'm Dezzy Finds, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something. You can certainly disagree with me. Tell me if you agree with me, if you disagree with me in the comments, whether you listen to the album, whether you think it's a complete banger. Please like, subscribe, comment, share, ring that notification bell. I have more music, more gaming, more commentary, more recap videos in the works coming soon. So I just want to thank you for clicking on this video and watching till this part. So I would like to leave you with some words. I hope during your day you are brought love, light, luck, and positivity. I'm gonna switch up how I say that every single video, but I hope that you will receive those things during your day, because you being here, you even clicking on this video has brought me love, light, luck, and positivity, and you do not have any idea how grateful I am for that you decided to spend your your precious time on me, and I'm just thankful. So Dezzy Finds is signing off, and I hope to catch you in another video. Bye.